What's going on, Panther fans? Well, another tough game, another tough week, huh? Got to get this review vid out for you for the Cleveland Browns game on yesterday. Sorry I didn't get a preview up for that game, but I was at home with family, and Friday when I was planning on doing the vid, I got really sick, down with some kind of sinus, head cold, which you could probably tell by my voice I'm still struggling with. But I was in the bed all day Friday. Yeah, just wanted to get out a review of that game, though. A little bit rough. Did show some improvements in some areas, but still, fact is we're 1-10, and the significant thing about that now is that this is the first season that John Fox has had double-digit losses as a coach of the Carolina Panthers, which it's unfortunate, but we kind of expected it at this point. But I want to go ahead and do some superlatives for this game because I thought we played well in some areas. But offensive superlative, I got to go to Mike Goodson. Jimmy Clausen showed some improvement and looked pretty decent at times yesterday, but Mike Goodson played very well. Just a lot of heart and determination, especially in that last run before the big throw to get in field goal range. Even though it didn't result in anything, it was still impressive. I mean, he just fought off tacklers. But I mean, I also got to give a shout out to Jonathan Stewart, because Stewart had probably his best game of the season thus far. Ran tough. He had a lot of 8 to 10, 12-yard runs yesterday. He looked a little bit more back in form of what we're used to seeing out of him. But good job to those guys. Nice performance. Hopefully they can continue to do that down the road and the rest of this season. Defensively, I think it's got to go to Captain Munderland. I think he started at corner. That's what the commentators said. I didn't really realize it until they said that. They said Captain Munderland started in place of Chris Gamble, which, I mean, I don't know what the purpose of that was, but he stepped up and played really well. Had the Panthers, I believe it's their first defensive touchdown of the season, if I'm not mistaken, at the hands of our former, Saint Jake Delhomme. I mean, Saint like, that type of stuff, rather than Saint like New Orleans Saint, although he was. But, that's neither here nor there. But, all in all, a loss is a loss. And when are you going to see John Casey miss 2 field goals from inside 50 yards? That just doesn't happen. Really unfortunate that had to come at this time. We were so close, to cap off an amazing drive, starting at our own 5-yard line with under a minute to go. Rookie quarterback, just fantastic effort on that last drive. I think some of these young players grew up a little bit on that drive. You could kind of see it. That one throw to Brandon LaFell that Clausen had, that was a gutsy throw. And props to LaFell for keeping his feet in bounds and dragging that toe. That's a big time catch. Really was. The ruling earlier on the earlier Brandon LaFell catch, by the way, where we challenged, that was one of the most horrible calls I think I've ever seen. Minus some pass interference calls I remember from the Dallas game a few years ago. But that was a catch clearly, and I don't know what the exact rules are in challenging, but if your team wins a challenge that ultimately hurts you, I think that you should have the option to decline the ruling and go back to the original or something to that effect, because we challenged the play, which ended up basically being reversed, kinda, in the fact that LaFell did not step out of bounds before touching the ball, but he didn't. They say that he didn't control the ball all the way to the ground, which he did, but the result of the play, the way they called it on the field, would have been us had the ball. We had the ball 3rd and 11. But after they ruled what they ruled, after they changed the call, it ended up being 4th down. So really, I mean, what the crap? We challenge a play and win, but lose. That doesn't make sense. That's a rule that needs to be changed. But other than that, I just want to hit a few quick highlights from the game. Jake, played okay. He tried to give us the game a few times, which is what we're accustomed to seeing. It was kind of weird seeing him out there in a different jersey playing against us, but at the same time, I don't have any dislike for the guy at all. Just a fantastic guy. He was quoted before the game by the Observer saying that that he feels like he'll always be a Panther, and I feel like that as a fan too. Just great guy. But so just to wrap up, showed improvements. Still 10-loss team. Casey out of the ordinary, missing 2 field goals, and I gotta say something about that. I think, and it's not because of this game. I've been thinking it all season long. I think it's time that we probably move on with go with a different kicker starting next season, possibly. If not next season, just as soon as possible. Because Casey's getting older, even though he's usually still pretty reliable, but he can't kick off, doesn't have the leg for that, and Reese Lloyd, down at this point in the season, he's not been getting the job done. He's not kicking touchbacks like he should be. I mean, we're using him with an extra roster spot that could go to somebody else, and that's just unnecessary. That's got to change, and I think the only way that you can really do that is if you draft or sign a free agent kicker who is capable of hitting field goals accurately and reliably, and can also have the leg to kick off. That's many teams around the league have that, and we should too. I was at the Ravens game the other week, and the Ravens have Billy Cundiff, and he kicked almost every kickoff into the end zone for touchbacks every time, and he's a pretty accurate field goal kicker as well. But so I guess something's going to have to change. But that's all I got for right now. I'll get up a preview vid sometime later this week for the Seahawks game Sunday. It's a 4 o'clock game, start time this Sunday, as opposed to 1 o'clock, what every game has been so far. I know boy, NFL Panthers 07, he's going to be at that game, and hopefully he goes there to see a Panther victory. Represent that Panther pride, no matter the record. I hope they go up there and get a win next week. It's definitely possible. Seattle is not exactly a cream of the crop team, but I'll get that out later this week, Thursday or Friday. And in the meantime, hit up the comments. I'll be sure to reply to them. Post your rants, post your thoughts for where we go from here, and post your MVPs. Anything you want. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Button at the top. So that's all I got for now. I'll catch y'all later this week. Go Panthers.